from Florida. Let's go for a walk here. This is a very, very, very historic place. I'm at the Old City Cemetery in Tallahassee, Florida. Tallahassee is the state capital of Florida, and a much more intriguing cemetery you will not find, I don't think, anywhere. This is pretty amazing. Who do we got here? Holly Davina is first to bat. Welcome. We're 30 seconds into it. Glad you could come on this hot and muggy Sunday. Although the weather in Florida has been fantastic. We stayed in Tampa Bay. Hey Pam, Denise, Emily, Cynthia, Steph, Maylene, Charles, Cheryl Daggs is here. What's going on? Wendy, Aunt Bees, S&C, Shanna, Nancy, Sonia, how fast can I read them? Anna, I missed somebody there. Kathy, how you all doing? Peggy's here, gonna do a little modding. Like I was saying, we're in Tallahassee, Florida, which is the state capital of Florida. It's a beautiful little city. We're here looking at colleges, so I thought I would sneak away for you guys and do a little walk here at the Old City Cemetery. This place is amazing. I shot an episode here already, which I'll tell you a little bit about. It's gonna come out next Sunday night. Tallahassee Witch, the double dead white witch. Have you heard of it? You're gonna hear of it. I'm not gonna save it. I have Halloween stories already, but I'm not gonna save this one for Halloween. This is gonna come out, I think, next Sunday. Who else came here? Kimberly's here. What's up, Kimberly? How you all doing? Sonia, Jean, Maureen, Peter, holy cow. How you guys all doing? It's great to see you all here. So you ready to take a walk at the old cemetery? This place is unbelievable. Wait till you see. You know, I get all excited about history, as you guys do. Nah, we don't need an umbrella. There's a lot of trees. It's only like in the 80s. It's a little muggy, but like I say, we've been in Tampa. We missed the whole tropical storm, and it's been gorgeous here in Florida. So let's start a walking. You guys ready? Ready for me to flip this around? All right, let's do this. Mr. In-Between, what's going on? How you doing? All right, have a look, have a look. Have a look, you cemetery fiends. Taphophobiites, taphibes, whatever we want to call them. Taphas. We'll call them the faces of the forgotten taphas. Look at these vaults, these underground tombs sunken in the ground. Hey Raul, what's going on? Casey from Texas, how you doing down there? How's the weather? We're gonna see some really good stuff. This guy died a Christian, Henry Malone. And by the way, I am standing right now in the western section of this cemetery. Again, the cemetery dates before the Civil War. 1829 is when it was established, the Old City Cemetery. We're gonna try to stay in the shade, guys, because it's a little muggy and the phone will go dark. And right in the middle of the cemetery, right up there, and we're gonna try and identify this together. I'm gonna need some help from some locals. There was a dividing line that went north to south, and it was, in the day, it had hog wire, and it divided the whites from the blacks. Hey Karen from Minnesota, what's going on? Thanks Rasta, what's going on? Mary from Iowa. Trey Payne, what's going on? Hello, hello. So yeah, this is a very historic cemetery. Like I said, of those of you coming in, 1829, and we are on the western section. Ironically, this was a segregated, as most or all the cemeteries pre-Civil War. This is Martin Luther King Drive now. How ironic that they are. No, you know what? You know what's ironic? No, that's not Martin Luther King Drive is over on the white side of the cemetery. So we showed them, right, world? That's right. But yeah, this was the, well, they called it the Negro colored people. Of course, a term that we don't use today, but that's history. And we're gonna tell history the way it was. We got some veterans here. Of course, we just had Memorial Day. I just did an episode at a cemetery in central, so this is north of Tampa, a really interesting story where every single flag, like here, looks like they're in pretty good shape. This one needs a little help. I don't know if, oh, that's too bad. This broke. Nothing we can really do about that. But yeah, Memorial Day, all the flags are still up. All right, we got to get to the shade here. So this is the black part of the cemetery, 1829. And over there is the white part. So again, those of you coming in right now, I did an episode here about an hour ago in the 4K. So this is going to be a preview for next Sunday night's premiere, which is going to be here about the Tallahassee witch. I'm not going to save it for Halloween like I was saying. I'm going to just come out with it this Sunday. I've got plenty of Halloween stuff going. Look at the Spanish moss. Look at these trees. They're amazing, huh? They're so beautiful. The weather's gorgeous here, Tallahassee, which, by the way, is, if you didn't know, is the capital of Florida. And they got a beautiful dome, state building. Father, mother, brother, sisters. We're going to look at some stones that are pretty darn amazing. And like I say, this is going to be the preview. Robert Cox, it looks like. Now, this is marble, and it's pretty. There's a coat of arms here, it looks like. And I see 1875, I think that's 75 to 1912. Wow, is that even possible? How is that? How could somebody live for 120? What would that be? That's, I don't know. I don't know about that one, guys. But that's what it says. I'm not going to argue with it. So this is going to be a good preview for you guys because, of course, although I have a really good signal, hoping is the picture looking okay? Because we do have 5 bars here right in the city. This is a college campus of Florida State University, one of the colleges we are looking at for our son. And we're kind of zeroing in on Central Florida, guys, near Orlando. We really like that college, but we'll see how this goes. We'll see how this cemetery goes. Look at this. Virgil C. Krum. Isn't this a beautiful marble statue? It kind of reminds me of Ella Barnum's statue. Resting in peace. We got an 1805 to an 1898. So several people lived long lives. Have you been to Notre Dame Cemetery? If not, definitely one to put on the list. Is that at Notre Dame University? Where is that? So this will be a good preview because, like I say, we're going to have a decent picture here. Look at the footstone. Little, very well-maintained cemetery here at the Old City Cemetery in Tallahassee. But what you see here, you're going to be able to see next Sunday night in 4K. And when I get to some of the other sections, you're going to really want to watch next Sunday night because there are just some amazing funerary art here, sculptures, stones, stories. You guys like the witch story? Here's a recent burial. We'll just kind of respect them. Here's a historic marker. Let's go take a quick look. It is campus. You know, I've been to the grotto at Notre Dame. I went to a Notre Dame football game, oh gosh, 20 years ago. Awesome experience. I was at the grotto. But again, that wasn't before that was way before I was doing this kind of stuff. So yeah, I'll put that on my list. I like that. That's a good one. Carol from New York, what's going on? How's the weather today out east? Philadelphia, New York, Jersey, and all the upper East Coast, Maine, Connecticut, Rhode Island, blah, blah, blah. So here we have Antonio Proctor. George Proctor and John Proctor. And they are all buried here. I'll give you a little look at this for a minute. So it looks like we have circa 1743 in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. He was a body servant to a British Army officer, and then it kind of goes through his life. Following the United States acquisition of Florida, there's some good stories we got out of Florida, let me tell you. He worked as an Indian interpreter. And then it talks about the territorial governor, William Duval. Proctor's skills proved indispensable. And he left a tangible legacy here, entrepreneur, home builder, prominent citizen here. And it says, let's just check on the other side. It says, check the other side. I want to make sure we don't, oh boy, whole nother story. So if you guys want to pause this, if you're watching the playback, you can read the rest of the story. I'm sure we can Google the Proctors and find out more about them. Oh, let's head to this plot up here, way up there. It looks really interesting. Amanda Panda's with us from Washington State. How's it going? Karen from England, how are you? Oh, Jennifer, come on. It's not too hot. It's 85. It's beautiful. I'm sure it gets hotter. I guess I'm lucky. Give you a look at this down here. Charlotte Norris, wife of Godfrey Allen, 1830 to 1921. So she lived a pretty good life. Big family plot here. Hi, Ron, it's Boston Dawn. How's it going, Boston Dawn? Good to hear from you. Glad you are able to hang out with us today. So let's see here, guys. I'm getting near the center. Not quite. So again, for those of you who come on board a little late, this is facing west, westbound. And this part of the cemetery back in the 1800s was the black part for free slaves and slaves, and they called them back there people of color, free people of color, or slaves. Those were the terms that were used. And right around here in this area, I'm going to see if we can find it, maybe somebody can help me, is a dividing line that kind of comes this way, and I think it's more over here. We're going to see, and it used to be that side was the whites, and that side was the blacks, of course, today. And ironically, that road over there, I believe, is called Martin Luther King Drive. So it's kind of a salute to all those racists back then. So there's a beautiful, erected to commemorate departed Worth by his affectionate uncle, T.B. Look at this gate. Somebody came back with some, this looks like rebar. So somebody, that's not, well, you know what? I think this gate is, yeah, this gate is not period. That's been remade out of metal rebar. Rebar is actually the stuff that goes in concrete to reinforce, concrete reinforcing. You know, you see the bars before they pour the concrete. So that's a new gate, but this is original wrought iron, if you like the wrought iron. And again, guys, what I'm showing you, you are going to get to see next Sunday night in 4K. Not all of these graves, but some of the more interesting ones, ending at the grave of the White Witch, Elizabeth Graham, the double dead White Witch, Edgar Allan Poe epitaph. It's pretty cool. I'm not going to show it now. We're going to have to wait till next Sunday. Some beautiful, look at that monument. You guys will really like that. Let's take a look over here. So like I said, I'm gonna see, let's see, I'm about halfway, and this dividing line I'm gonna guess. Gosh, it's hard to say. Does anybody know where the black, white, you know what? I see a gate way over there. I'm betting the dividing line is right over here. Yeah, it's a beautiful Sunday. Where are you at, Raul? Beautiful Sunday here. Tallahassee. Here's a cradle grave. Salute to Jennifer Lewis and her sister. Jennifer's handling for us the Keller family stone, which is still in the works. By the way, Willie Novotny's stone is installed. I'm gonna see if I can, when I get home, I'm gonna see if I can get out there and get some video on it for you. Do a quickie release as soon as I can. It looked good. Britton sent me the picture. Picture looked really good of little Willie. Well, what do you know? I think, is this a picture on a tomb? Which would be very unusual. All right, oh no, it's just a letter. You know what? I can't stay in the sun here too long because we're gonna burn out the phone. It's pretty hot. It's not bad, but I know how this phone is. Look at those, that double tomb. Isn't that cool? Port Charles, Florida, cool. Greetings from Sweden, Carrie. How's it going? All right, I'm gonna run back to the shade here, guys. Doesn't bother me, but the phone is real finicky, and then I can't, what it does, it goes dark, it still works, but then I can't read your comments, so I'm gonna try and stay in the shade. So I think that if you look over here, let me just show you something here. I'll tell you a little bit of history of the cemetery. So like I said, this side was the white part of the cemetery. And then as we go over here, the western end was the black. And the dividing line, I believe, it could be here. I'm pretty sure it's right here. Do you see this? And there's a gate over there. There's a gate right at the end. And I'm guessing, and they say back in the day this had a fence. So a little bit of history of the cemetery as I look at some of the stones. Like I said, it was established, thanks Sheila for $5. It was established in 1829, and in 1841 they had a really, really bad yellow fever epidemic. Of course, we know yellow fever really started in the early, I think 1804, 1805. And it pretty much devastated all through the 1800s. It was devastating people. But in 1841 is when it really, really hit here. Now, one of the things that I found very interesting of the history of the cemetery, and if you look at the Reconstruction period and the race stuff and the slaves and all that, what I found interesting, and we were actually at the veterans, and I forgot to look. Gosh, I'll go back and look before I leave, but I wanted to see if there were any Union soldiers. Maybe you guys will remember. We can look back in the playback. Whoops. But what they did is there was this battle here called the Battle of Natural Bridge, and after that battle, all the dead were brought here, Confederates and Union alike. But interestingly, the Confederates were buried over here in the white section, while the Union soldiers were buried way over there in the black. And you know what? Putting two and two together, duh, all of those flags we saw, though, those are probably, and the shape of the top of the stone is not pointed, those are where all the Union soldiers were buried back in that, after that battle. Isn't that something? I just wanted to show them, say, you know, we hate you. We hate the Union and the enemy, so we're gonna bury you on the black side. Isn't that terrible? Anyway, that's history. Little Willie Augustus, infant son of William and Lena Seymour, died October 9th, 1883, it looks like. Or is that 1833? That could be 33. Wow. And it's the stone, he was 1 year and 4 days. The stone is unbelievable. And he took them up in his arms his hands upon them and blessed them. So that's a verse from Mark 10, chapter 16. So a little bit of cool history there. So like I say, they had the dividing line. It was 6 feet wide, and this looks to be about 6 feet wide, where they had the separation. And they said that they had this, there was this, in 1950s, there was this guy that worked here, Mr. Sneed Hall. I guess he was the caretaker, and he said that there was a hog wire fence right here. So you probably had to like walk around to get to the other side. And in the mid 1800s, I guess the cemetery was really unkept, and they had hogs, and, well, that's maybe why there were hogs and cattle running loose in here, and really devastating this cemetery. Here's another interesting, stones are in amazing shape, guys, I gotta tell you. But of course we're in Florida. This is a Reverend Duncan. Take a look. Reverend E.B. Duncan. And he was born in, let's see, let me get my glasses here. Okay, 1813, 1878. Some very old stones here, guys. Very old stones. A prayer, a whole prayer on there. So let's cross, oh, let's just take a quick look at these vaults here. Let's take a quick look at these vaults. A little reminiscent of New Orleans, huh? In that, the shape. But I don't think they have multiple people in here, yeah. 1890s, mid 1800s, 1890, 1954, wow. They're pretty good. The Lloyd, this is the Lloyd family plot. This is Walter Lloyd Bond. Fell asleep March 22nd, 1888. Give you a close-up of that. Interesting epitaph. Age 20 years and 8 days. Oh, such is the kingdom of God. I don't know, guys. It would be really interesting to see inside there. I bet it would just be I'll bet the coffin is very well preserved. Imagine looking in there and seeing a wood coffin. Wow, would that be neat? Let's take a look at, this one. Letitia, wife of T.J. Rawls. 1828 to 1874. This is the Rawls family plot that we're in. A.E. Phillips. Look at how well the inscriptions are just beautiful. And I'll tell you, you know what I like is nobody's coming in here and sandblasting these stones. Don't you like the patina on these stones? I can't stand it when they just take all this off and they look like, I call them denture teeth. They look like a molar. Looks like a molar sticking out of the ground, in my opinion. Hey Dana, what's going on? Good afternoon to you. All right, we're gonna work our way this way. This is kind of where it starts getting really more intriguing with the sculptures and the stones. So like I said, back in the mid 1800s, they had hogs and cattle roaming in here, grazing, trampling, stepping on graves, you can believe it. And in 1834, there was a Tallahassee resident, and I remember reading, I was reading some newspaper articles and quotes on this place that there was a quote, "Please replace bringing coffins in. We don't want to see those rough carts. They're bringing in with carts, and please replace with a one-horse hearse." Now look how beautiful this is kept. I don't know if you can tell here, but this is manicured. This is absolutely manicured. I think my favorite quote that I read, I'll read this to you about this cemetery, was a newspaper quote from the time where they were talking about how deplorable things were handled and how deplorable this place was, and definitely not the way it is now. St. Augustine, no, I've not. I'm going to hit Florida actually in next winter pretty hard, and I think I have that on my list. I'm going to hit a lot of the cemeteries. Here's a 1847 and 1910 Confederate. Now there you go. See, we're on the white side of the cemetery on the east, and it's the Confederates, just like I was saying. So that proves it out. Look at the tiny cradle grave. Where's Jennifer Lewis? You're gonna like this. Look at this. Got to be a child. It's absolutely tiny. Francis P. Damon, September 10th, 1891. Yeah, May 18th, 1893. So it didn't even make it to 2 years old. So sad. Thanks, Dana, for the $5. Very cool. Appreciate that. Well, before we get into it, here's another interesting cradle grave. No flowers in the grave, just grass, but oh boy, I see an open tomb. Did not bring my flashlight, but I see an open tomb over there. Let's take a look at this one first. Annie R. Pappy, wife of P.W. Wilson, 1865-1909, peace, perfect peace. Well, that's for sure. Look at this. Well, it's not open, but it's sunken. It's a sunken tomb, which tells me that the coffin beneath probably long ago collapsed. Well, maybe not. You'd think they would have filled this back in, but maybe they're just leaving things the way they were for history's sake. This is Jenny Wilson. Take a look at that stone for you. Wife of J.H. Talbot Martin. And that's 1868 to 1889. Maxwell. So the newspaper quote I was talking about that really stood out to me was, and we're going to go to this cool section here. It was you know, again, talking about the deplorable conditions here, and said that, you know, also what's deplorable was the, and I'm going to quote, let me step down from this plot, was the very insecure and objectionable manner of lowering the silent tenant to his last sad dwelling by merely slipping ropes underneath the coffin. This practice must always result in distracting the attention from the solemn services of the grave, in exciting painful anxiety for the living and the dead, and sometimes in accidents, agonizing to the mourners and appalling to the spectators. So I kind of like that quote. Now we're coming to what I consider, thanks Leslie, $5 or 5 something. Thank you. Thanks for the donations. They're going to a good cause. We're buying gravestones. Thank you so much. It's all going into the pot of gold to buy those gravestones for those who have not. Like I say, I think this was the more interesting part of the cemetery. Got another donation there from Janet. Thank you for the $10. Very cool. Yeah, cemetery's very well kept, as I was saying. Very intrigued. For those of you, I see a lot more people have come on since from the beginning. This was a segregated cemetery. The blacks back in the day Running into some technical issues here with YouTube. I'm hoping we don't lose this live stream. Yeah, we got disconnected here a couple times. Oh man, I'm by the best part of the cemetery. I hope we don't lose it. How we looking now, guys? Yeah, I know we had a glitch. We are a segregated group, John. We are. How's it looking now? We good? Still buffering? The big buff? We're back now, Tanya? Thank you, thank you. All right, we're just gonna have to go with it. Good old YouTube. Singor, Nacino, you're doing great work. Thank you for the 5, very cool. All right, I'm just gonna like pause here and make sure we're back, because this is the best part of the cemetery. And I don't want to be buffering through this. We got a good picture here. We're good. Everybody says, yeah, we're back. Okay. Hello from Arkansas, PJ. So yeah, for those of you who came on late, a little summary here. That's the black section. That's where the Union soldiers are. And this is the white section where the Confederates are buried. So it gives you a little history of what was a sign of the times, right? All right, good. I'm glad we're back here. Let's go back to what we were doing. And we are on our way. Well, I shot an episode here an hour and a half ago on the Tallahassee witch. Her name Elizabeth Graham, and she's known as the Double Dead Witch, Double Dead White Witch, and I will explain, but I'm not going to explain until next Sunday night. You're going to have to stay tuned for the Sunday night premiere next Sunday, because then you are going to get to see all of this in 4K. And I think we're getting a pretty good signal here. But next Sunday, I like this section that we're going to see, I covered really hard with the big time camera. And I tell the story of the White Witch and her tomb. You can look it up on Google, get a preview. It's unbelievable. And there's an Edgar Allan Poe epitaph. But I'm going to tell the full story next week and show you guys the grave, and we're going to talk about it. So this is kind of a cool preview for y'all to see what you're going to see, because you know the cell phones, it's especially in a live, it's not going to show that much. Tanya, can't wait. I actually can't wait. I love editing these things too. See these stones here? I took a real close up. You can see every grain of granite, every lichen has its own name. Here, let's take a look. So you won't be able to see. Thanks, Jeffrey, for the $5. So this is Junior, and this one, like in 4K, I can name each of these. That's Jody, and that's Jeffrey, and that's John. And I'm going to tell you something also. That's going on here. This is another cemetery where gravestone rubbing is not allowed. It is against the rules here. And you know how I feel about those people who rub gravestones, that I think most of them don't know that they're not supposed to be doing it. You go to Massachusetts, there are cemeteries, you cannot be rubbing the gravestones. It's literally against the rules. So when I say don't do it, you are pushing, first of all, they're putting something on the tombstone, and you are putting pressure. Now, all these tombstones have hairline cracks and fractures you can't even see. And I'm talking about these vertical slabs. And these people are going and they're putting their trace paper up and their charcoal and they're pushing on it. And I see it as just this selfish act, like, I want to see what it says. Now, if it's for posterity or history, like let's say it's family member, descendant, fine. Or if it's for history, maybe the museum, and we need to know, that's cool. But when you let hundreds and hundreds of people over time keep pushing, doing this stuff, it's like, hey Larry, $5, thanks. It's like, that's why they have stuff behind the glass in the museum, so you guys can't touch it. So I really hate when I hear, I'll get a comment, you should be doing this and that. So anyway, now I'll probably get a bunch of comments of jokesters, so you will be blocked. No big deal. But anyway, that's I feel about that like I feel about pressure washing. And you take, here's a good example, Now they're gonna come with their charcoal and they're gonna like be pushing on this, and there's some cracks you can't see that I can see, and it's over 100, some 200 years old. You're gonna knock it, you're gonna knock it down. Don't do it. And look at the beautiful, don't pressure wash these. A little D2 once in a while so we can read it, that's cool. But don't make, you guys, don't make these stones. Thanks V for the $5. Here's my final note. Don't make these stones look like white molars, like Doc Holliday's mom. I saw the old picture of her tombstone and it was beautiful. And when I found it, somebody, and I know it's great, clean the stone, but they made it like so white, the marble. It looked so bad. It looked like a denture. Anyway, that's enough of my rant on that. Check this out. I wonder what this is. Tomb? What do you think? Oh, look at this, guys. Look at this. We have electrical. Is this going to be like the Sheets Mausoleum in Terre Haute, where the guy was afraid to get buried alive so he could call home? Look at that, it feeds right in there. You know what, actually I don't think this is a tomb. I do not think this is a tomb. No, you know what this is? This looks to me like the old the old office from the 1800s. Man, I better not drop this in there. This looks like the old office. This is definitely period early mid 1800s. So I'm guessing this is where Fred was, the gravedigger. This is where he hung out. Maybe he hung out all night. Let's look at this one. Mary for $5, thanks. That's going for Willie Novotny or the Keller family. Look out for the Spanish moss. Woo. Is that Jennifer Lewis? Yeah, she's here. Shout out for Jennifer Lewis. Shout out for our mods. Kimberly, Peggy, Pam, Ashley. Who am I forgetting, man? I can't even keep it straight. Donk, look at that. Alice, of course. Can't forget Alice, our Native American friend. Alice and I have a lot of talks about Native Americans. Alice, what tribe are you with again? I know you were talking about the Hopi. Oh, tonight, you're gonna love tonight's, speaking of the Hopi. You're gonna like tonight's premiere if you like. Cheryl Daggs, Freezing Less. Ella Lee Murray, 1887. Thank you, Waco Flyer. Waco, I think it's Waco. $5, thank you. My pilot buddy. Let's look over here. So, like no gravestone rubbing allowed here, against the rules. You get caught, you are going to cemetery jail. Don't do it. Look at this wrought iron, guys. Don't you love it? You're gonna see all this in 4K next Sunday night. A lot of this I covered. Just one stone and all these people here are buried. Just imagine, wood coffins. And those wood coffins are now part of the earth. They are they're not wood coffins anymore. Especially with the tropical storms down here seeping down there. They're just, there's no digging anybody up, even if you wanted to. Thank you, mods, for your help. Yeah, Larry, isn't that nice ironwork? God, I'm glad the picture came back. I was getting worried about that. Here's a lovely monument with a cross. Looks like for a child. No, T.B. Wells, born in New Orleans, 1843, died in Jacksonville, 1885. Rest in peace. Yeah, there's some cool wrought iron here, guys. I see a woodman. I see a woodman grave. Let's take a look. Amanda's no rub. Thanks, Amanda. You're awesome. You guys are all awesome. A lot of cradle graves here, but sadly no flowers. Nobody's adopted any of these graves. Who lives in Tallahassee? Come on. You need to maybe adopt a grave here. 1850 to 1900. Those are some round numbers. Can you read that? I cannot. Something his belong, sleep. Can't see it. Oh, look at this. Gate is open. We are at the old, yes, we're at the Old City Cemetery in the Tallahassee. I just want to see if this, isn't that something? How many 100 years old is this? And they just work. It really holds up, doesn't it? Erected to the memory of Elizabeth L.L., wife of John E. Broome, and only child of the late, I think it says Edward. Can't read the last name. Now this is another great example. Okay, not that you need to find out what this says, but do you see this hairline crack here? So if you start pushing on here, and then the next guy comes and the next guy, that thing is gonna not only fall over, but it's gonna hit that and just smash into pieces. We don't want that. No rubbing. No rubbing, people. No rubbers welcome. Uh-oh, not rubbers, rubbers. All right, let's change the subject. I think I've talked about it enough too. What do we got over here? There's a couple of vaults. Let's go check these out. Hey Nadia, what's going on? How are you? Wouldn't you love to live next to this cemetery? You could spend days here. You could spend months here, especially in Florida. You don't have to worry about the snow. Now this is interesting, look at this. So I was gonna show you the construction of these walls, this kiln-fired brick. Now there's something you rarely get to see is a cross-section of these plot dividers, knee walls, you can call them. I'm an architect, I call these little knee walls. There's all kinds of terms you can use for it. But you can see the brickwork here. Gives you an idea, and then they cover it with like a cement coating to get that round surface. Very interesting. I thought I didn't know there was brick under there. Now that's interesting. Here's a plot wall. Never seen something like this before. Family plot with a full wall, although, looks like something from a later period. I don't think this is, no, looks like masonry blocks with a coating on top, like a lathe. Not lathe, it's like the coating, but let's take a look at one of these stones here. Marble. Sacred to the memory of Rebecca A.C. Andrew Scott. So age 27 years and 22 days. She died on July 3rd, 1841. It's so interesting, that was the style. They would always say, they really wouldn't show the birth date much. They show the death date and how many years, months, and days they lived. Then I guess you can figure out the birth date from there. And that's how they did it. Pretty common. Claudia Pauline, 1864 to 1900. Am I going to EAA, Jennifer? No, I've been to EAA a lot, and the kids get, actually, we've been there a few times, and it's so hot and crazy. But yeah, I've done my years at EAA. I fly my seaplane in. Major General David Lang, the Adjutant General of Florida, 1885 to. Thanks, Martin, for the 5. So you guys can pause this and read it. Local notable person. Let's see. Yeah, I'll give you a shot of the back. Oh, he was born in 1838. Look at this. So he fought in the Civil War, I'm betting. Yeah, Georgia Military Academy in 1857. Yeah, that was right before the war. Lieutenant Colonel, 8th Florida Infantry. Of course, he's Confederate, which means he is, again, you can freeze, pause it if you want to read all this. Let me give you a quick, okay, pause it now. And here is his monument, a beautiful marble square. And this is his wife, David Lang's wife. It says Dr. J.D. Campbell and wife of David Lang, but it doesn't say her name. Oh, it does on top. Mary. Okay. Mary Quarles. Now, isn't that interesting? That's her middle name? Quarles. Daughter of Dr. So she's the daughter of Dr. J.D. Campbell and the wife of David Lang. Okay. And she was born in Virginia. She was born Louisa, C.O., Virginia. Louisa County, is it? Who's from Virginia? It's got to be Louisa County, or June 10th, 1848. Died Atlanta, Georgia, December 19th, 1889. And she has a cradle grave here. There it is. I'm going to show you some really interesting tombs. We're kind of getting close to the Tallahassee witch's grave, and I'm not going to do any close-ups. You got to wait for Sunday night, but I'll give you some teaser of that. Annie Newbury. Millarda. 1892, so that is baby. 1861 to 1946. All right, let's make our way this way. What do you think, guys? You having fun? It is another Sunday live stream. What do we want to see here? Let's pivot this way a little bit. So like I say, you want to see this stuff in 4K, did an episode about an hour and a half ago here in the bit with the big cinematic camera. And we're going to get some close-ups of some of this stuff. Anna Marie, thank you so much for the $10. Very generous. So the witch premiere is tonight, Jeffrey? No, it is next Sunday. Tonight is Sedona. You're gonna have to wait a week to see the witch. I just shot it an hour ago. You gotta let me edit it. I gotta edit it. It takes me a few days to get to it. I was gonna save it for Halloween, but I thought, nah, I can't wait that long. I got plenty of Halloween stuff, like I was saying. I don't wanna wait. I'll just put it out there for y'all. What's a cradle grave? Ruth? No, Kate Marie. Cradle grave, I'll show you an example of one. Let me see, while I look at this grave, we'll see if I can spot one. They're all over the place. I'll show you a cradle grave. And make note of Jennifer Lewis, one of our viewer friends, Instagram. She's a cradle grave caretaker in Auburn, New York, right, Jennifer? Oh, look at this. This is not a cradle grave. These are stones that sadly cracked off. They're very tall. And this is, again, I'm not going to get back on the subject, but this is what I was talking about. Fractures, people pushing on the stone, doing charcoal rubbings. I'm not saying that's why these fell down, but that's why you don't do the rubbings. Not allowed here, guys, against the rules. Looks like 38 years old, wife. This is Charlotte, daughter of, so we've got a wife and we got a daughter, age 27 years. They both died pretty young. Cornish, New Hampshire. Anybody from Cornish? Cornish, New Hampshire. Yeah, these are both, they were born in New Hampshire. Very interesting. Yeah, I agree, Alice, right? More cemeteries need to have that restriction, but I'll bet people don't know, and most of the people just don't know. It's innocent. That's why we need to educate everybody. We've got to spread the word. Okay, here's a cradle grave, and obviously you can see why they call it a cradle grave, because it looks like a cradle, right? Cradle grave. There you go. All right, we looked over there already. We saw the in-between divider. We're getting close to the witch's grave. The white witch, the white double witch. Why is she called the double witch? Double white witch. Sounds like chocolate. Double white chocolate. Well, I'll tell you next Sunday night if you tune in. You can watch this all in 4K. Look at the wrought ironwork here. Look at that. Wow, this is some nice detailing here. Too bad that looks like the top, well, maybe this is how it was. I don't know. You were in Los Angeles, Lynn? How's the weather? Always nice there. I got a new story that I want to do in Los Angeles. I might have to take a special flight. When I get on a story I really, really want to do, I'll just do it. There's one in New York. I'm doing a day flight. I'm going to fly in the morning. I'm going to do the story. I probably just get an Uber from JFK or LaGuardia. And I'm going to do the story and I'm going to fly home because I want to do the story so bad. But I don't want to drive to New York to do it. Look at these all the kids' graves here, guys. Edgar Tatum. This is infant daughter. This is Perez, Bonnie. I wonder if this is and look at the little, see the footstones? They all have footstones. And they're all behind this beautiful wrought ironwork here. A lot of kids, yeah, yellow fever. This was, if you watch the beginning, I talk about the yellow fever. In 1841, this place got really wiped out from the yellow fever. Here, I'll reach over. We can go in here, but I'm just going to stand out here. I'll give you a little shot of this. Here's a vault, interesting vault over here. There's a bunch of vaults over here. $5, Kimberly? Or no, that's K9. Thanks, K9. Thank you. Here's another cradle grave, you guys, for you cradle grave lovers. That's a real nice cradle grave, and a marble, all marble. That was expensive. Imagine what that cost in the day. And I like those pyramid. See the wall that's going all the way around? They got those little pyramid tops. But I was walking over here because I wanted to see this. So it looks like the man's wife is buried inside here, or she may be down underground. This may just be a monument. Jane Ann, wife of Alexander Gawley, looks like, and it was 1853. She was 36 when she passed away. Isn't that something? Let's see if there's anything else here. Here's Alexander, son of, yeah, so this is probably just a marker, not a vault. That's just a marker, marble. And I'm loving that they're not power washed. I love the look of the old stones. Now, again, we're going to get a contrast, and I'm interested in your opinion, guys. I'm interested. It looks like we got a rain shower coming in, a little cell, so I might have to, hopefully it holds off a little longer. So here's what I'm talking about. This is what I don't like. And maybe some of you like it. I don't know. But I don't. I think it looks terrible. It looks like a big denture, tooth. And I really can't tell you that I can read the inscriptions any better. I can read them actually better the way they were. And you're just taking layers of marble off here. That's marble. Yeah, I just, it doesn't look like history. Taking the tarnish off an old coin loses all its value. Look at this, guys. I did hit this in the next Sunday night premiere, Tallahassee Witch. I came pretty close in on this, so you'll be able to see every pebble, every lichen, every blade of grass of these I guess you call them vaults. What I didn't do was this little one. John Sam. See if I can, there we go. Sacred to the memory of John Samuel, with a little, see the little L? Samuel, son of R.A. and M.A. Shine. He died November 21st, 1813. He was only 3 years old, 3 years, 9 months, and 11 days. And he's down there. So sad. Now these are not monuments, these are vaults. They're inside here for sure. All right, I'm gonna give you kind of a circle. We are right by the Tallahassee Witch. See that marker right there? That is Elizabeth Bunn Graham. And there's a really, really cool, intriguing, spooky portrait that I think is in her likeness. I'll get a little closer to tease you, but remember, we're gonna see this all on 4K, and I'm gonna tell you the story. But if you look at the bottom of that monument, you'll see the portrait that I'm speaking of, and you will see also the Edgar Allan Poe passage, his ode for the lover he either lost or couldn't find. You can probably look up the picture in Google, but I'm gonna tell you it's not gonna get any better than next Sunday night, because we talk about this whole story, and I've got some thoughts, and I've got some stuff I don't think anybody is thinking about or talking about on this tomb of Elizabeth Bud Graham, the double, I want to say the double Dutch, the double White Witch. Anyway, on that note, I'm gonna close it out because we do have rain, a little cell moving in here, so I'm gonna jump into the car before I get pounded. But hopefully I can see you guys tonight at 8 p.m. on out in Sedona, and then next Sunday night's here, okay? 4K, you're gonna see some of this stuff in super 4K. So thanks for coming and hanging out with me. And all you guys, make sure and stay safe, okay? Thanks for hanging out. This is a great walk today. Very intriguing.